Assembly, I'd like to take a minute to recognize that this is a national day of mourning because we lost a president in the last week. While the passing of any president is an occasion marked in appreciation for service and reflection of shared values, even when disagreements with policy and point of view may exist, the passing of George H.W. Bush is a main moment. Quite a few of us have walked the beach at Rachel Carson National Wildlife Refuge in Wells and looked across the water to see Walker's Point. And we know now that this spot is inextricably linked to the history of our country. It's the summer home of our last president, raised through the Great Depression, and who came of age through service in World War II. So if you would, please stand and recognize the service and the passing of President George Herbert Walker Bush. A moment of silence, please. But you might be wondering by now why I've asked you all to be here today. To answer that question, I'd like to introduce Mr. Dick DeRost. He's the president of the Maine Principals Association.
Good morning. Dick DeRost, I'm the Executive Director of the Maine Principals Association, former high school math and physics teacher, coach, sports official, athletic director, assistant principal, superintendent, and for the last 18 years I've had the privilege of working for the Maine Principals Association. And for you seniors who are sitting over here doing the math, yeah, that means I started doing this just about the time you were born. Whoops, pointing the wrong side. You guys look mature, okay? My purpose in being here this morning, first of all, just a little bit of personal privilege. I had not been in this facility since you underwent the renovations here a few years ago. Did spend some time a few years ago when our president of our association was Jean Crocker, when she was the principal here, and then she eventually worked for our association for 4 years after that. But coming in here this morning and seeing the changes in this building, huge kudos to the city of South Portland, as well as the administration, community, the teachers, the staff, the students. You folks have a wonderful, wonderful building here, which shows that it can be done through renovation. It doesn't have to be totally a brand new model when you start. So my applause, my commendations to you and the entire city of South Portland. All right, briefly, let me tell you why we're here. With me this morning is Dr. Holly Couturier. She's an assistant executive director on our staff, former elementary principal. We are here this morning to tell you just a little bit about the Maine Principals Association, some of which you probably already know. We are the association that oversees high school athletics activities. We run all of the state championships in all the sports. We coordinate student council, National Honor Society, speech, debate, one-act plays, all of those things. And if you're in a high school, and if you know anything at all about the Maine Principals Association, that's probably who you know us as and who you know us in terms of what we do. We are also, however, a professional service organization for principals and assistant principals across the state at the elementary level, at the middle level, and at the high school level. And we represent about 850 principals and assistant principals across the state before the legislature, with the Department of Education, and nationally with 2 national principals associations. We also provide about 65 days of professional development every year in order for principals, assistant principals, and teacher leaders to continually be looking at how they can do their job as best they possibly can on your behalf as the students of Maine. And I talked a minute ago about the fact that we like to recognize high school students in schools and athletic teams, and one-act plays and all of those things. But we're also about recognizing our own people. We're also about recognizing principals and assistant principals for everything that they do statewide on behalf of the students, the schools, the communities that they serve. And when I say we recognize them, we have a program in place where we honor each year an elementary principal of the year, a secondary principal of the year, an elementary assistant principal of the year, and a high school assistant principal of the year. And I am here this morning to announce for the first time publicly to the state of Maine that South Portland High School for the next year will have the Maine Secondary Assistant Principal of the Year going across the state and across the country representing you folks. It's my pleasure to introduce this year's High School Assistant Principal of the Year, Ms. Kim Bennett. Yeah. First of all, just a couple of words, and then we're going to turn this over to some people here at the school to speak, including Ms. Bennett. First of all, what does this honor mean? It means that she will represent the best of everything that assistant principals in the state do for the course of the next year. We will be recognizing her at a banquet in April that we put on to recognize our retirees as well as our principals and assistant principals of the year. She'll have the opportunity to speak that night before all of her colleagues, and I know she's probably nervous about that already. So she will represent us there. Also, in October, Principals of the Year and Assistant Principals of the Year are brought to Washington, D.C., where she and her 49 colleagues representing the other 49 states will meet in a 4-day conference, be recognized at the national level as one of the best, not only in Maine, but one of the best at the national level. So there will be other things that we'll be doing over the course of the year to recognize her, but those are 2 or 3 of the main things that will be coming. We're going to make her stand here and feel embarrassed for a while because some people are going to come up and say some very nice things about her. Again, Kim, congratulations. You will represent us, and you will represent South Portland well.
Thank you very much, Mr. DeWalt, and thank you, Mr. Curry. It's a thrill to be here today and to have this honor bestowed on Ms. Bennett. I first saw her in action when you guys were all freshmen, and I went into your freshman orientation, and she got up in front of you guys and went through all the rules and regulations, and she said, but if you forget anything, just come up and find me anytime around school, and you really can't miss me because I'm 6 feet 7 inches tall, and so you cannot use that as an excuse. And so for the last 4 years, I know you've been able to find her and get her support, guidance, and help, and that's been going on for years in South Portland High School. Now, rather than say more, I figured I should show you, because we're into experiential learning here in South Portland, what the life of an assistant principal is and what they need to do on a daily basis.
Last words before we let Ms. Bennett speak. Remember that time we had a secret assembly? Do you remember that time that Ms. Bennett was really tall and had curly hair? Do you remember that time that when you got to school she was standing there with a big smile on her face to see you? It was like every day. Remember that that time that she played in the Harlem Superstars? Remember that time she wore the athletic shirt of the day or the cross-country shirt? Remember that time that she went to basketball games and girls' soccer games and the musical and met you after school for tassel to tassel? That's how much she cares. And that's why we are glad to be her school, and we are lucky that she is ours. One more huge, want to hear every bit of your voice, round of applause and cheers for Ms. Bennett. Good morning, guys. I'm much more comfortable when I stand up here and tell you guys the things that you need to know versus having to talk about myself, but I am very honored this morning to stand before you. Earlier this fall, when I learned that I had been nominated for this award, it made me pretty emotional. To be nominated was to be recognized for something that really matters to me, something into which I put a lot of energy, and being one of the assistant principals of South Portland High School, for me, is pretty powerful. So I want to take a minute to thank the MPA for the recognition and their support of professional development for assistant principals throughout the state of Maine. Thank you for Mr. Cunin and Ms. LaForge for your very kind words. Thank you to all the students and the families that I've worked with, and thank you to all the staff, especially those of you who have been here for all of my 7 years, and especially for the work that you do, most importantly, to support our kids. Thank you to the administrators in the district, and a special thanks to Principal LaForge and Assistant Principal Hughes for the team that we're building and the support that you give me every moment of every day. I also want to thank my family. My dad and my stepmom are sitting over there. You guys will notice my dad, he's taller than I am, actually. So without them, I would not be who I am today. So as I went through this nomination process, I found myself wondering if it was an award I really deserved. I know that I work hard, but now, no matter how the day unfolds, I leave here at the end of each day with things unfinished. A never-ending to-do list and unanswered emails. During my drive home in the evenings, I think about what I did every day and whether or not I handled the situations for you guys the best that I possibly could. But then I thought about all of you, our students and staff, and I thought about how fortunate I am and that I really enjoy my job, this job. I thought about my 7 years here. I have worked with hundreds of students, many of whom taught me and gave me more gifts than they will ever know. I've worked with staff members who inspire me by their work and motivate me to be better every day. I've been here through a lot of changes. I've seen amazing people retire and amazing people get hired. I've now worked with 3 principals and 4 assistant principals, including Mr. Rossetti. Through all of this, the biggest lesson I've learned at South Portland High School, for me, especially as an assistant principal, is every day is different. I spend a lot of time on reflecting here. There are good days and there are hard days, and I show up for both. I care about what happens here, and more importantly, I care about the people who are here. I don't do this job perfectly. I surely don't make all of you happy, but that is part of my job. That's what I'm hired to do. And while it's very hard sometimes that I can't make you all happy, I do push us to do hard work. I ask us to meet each other every day where we are and then start the work together. I push us to look at things differently. I ask us to be kind and respectful. I ask us to put students first. I ask us to challenge ourselves and expect that we all live above the line. For me, receiving this award does not mean that I am the best assistant principal in the state of Maine or that I do things perfectly. Receiving this award means that the work that I do, the work that I love, that somewhere along the way I've been able to make a difference. That I've been able to build relationships with students, staff, and community members that are positive, and that I have contributed to the incredible and amazing things that happen here at South Portland High School, and that my work has been recognized. I'm incredibly grateful that I get to be a part of South Portland High School and our ever-changing community. I am proud to be the assistant principal at South Portland High School. I'm proud to be named Maine's Assistant Principal of the Year. Thank you. a pleasure to see us all together. Please head back to home base.